Welcome to today's podcast.
Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Today we'll cover these key vocabularies: in bad taste, in poor taste, on one's best behavior, put out, cheek, and cheeky, with plenty of examples to help you master them.
Let's get started right away.
In bad taste describes something offensive or socially inappropriate.
It often refers to jokes or actions that offend common sensibilities.
Telling a joke about someone's illness is in bad taste.
Making fun of a tragedy is definitely in bad taste.
He wore a clown suit to a funeral. That was in bad taste.
Posting rude comments about a friend's loss is in bad taste.
Advertising a party during a memorial service felt in bad taste.
Laughing loudly at a solemn event can seem in bad taste.
He congratulated himself on someone else's misfortune, truly in bad taste.
Using a graphic image for shock value is in bad taste.
Making sarcastic remarks about a serious issue is in bad taste.
She posted spoilers right after a film's release, quite in bad taste.
Cracking rude jokes at a wedding is in bad taste.
Displaying disrespectful memes during a ceremony is in bad taste.
He bragged about cheating on taxes. That's in bad taste.
Mocking someone's cultural tradition is in bad taste.
Giving a joking eulogy felt in bad taste.
Swearing loudly at a hospital visit comes off as in bad taste.
She photographed the accident scene, totally in bad taste.
Making light of someone's grief is in bad taste.
He gave sarcastic applause at a serious speech, in bad taste.
Turning a serious debate into a joke is in bad taste.
Showing insensitive political cartoons during a crisis felt in bad taste.
Wearing a provocative slogan to a formal event is in bad taste.
He laughed when someone tripped, really in bad taste.
Mocking someone's appearance is always in bad taste.
Telling a bedroom joke at a family dinner is in bad taste.
Posting unverified rumors online is often in bad taste.
He gave a gag gift to someone grieving, very in bad taste.
Using someone's tragedy for humor is in bad taste.
She called out a victim online, definitely in bad taste.
Turning a memorial into a joke is in bad taste.
He posted private photos without consent, in bad taste.
Laughing at a disabled person's misfortune is in bad taste.
She wrote a sarcastic obituary, quite in bad taste.
Playing loud music at dawn outside a hospital is in bad taste.
He made prank calls to someone in mourning, so in bad taste.
She replaced solemn chants with funny sound effects, in bad taste.
Posting unkind captions under a memorial photo is in bad taste.
Wearing Halloween makeup to a war memorial site is in bad taste.
He filmed people crying and laughed, absolutely in bad taste.
Turning a charity event into self-promotion is in bad taste.
In poor taste is very similar to in bad taste, meaning crude or insensitive.
It highlights a lack of refinement or respect.
Making rude comments at a formal dinner is in poor taste.
Wearing torn jeans to a job interview is in poor taste.
He joked about layoffs during a company meeting, in poor taste.
Singing off-key in a solemn ceremony is in poor taste.
Posting an inappropriate meme at work is in poor taste.
Laughing at someone's mistake publicly is in poor taste.
He gifted a joke pinned to someone grieving, in poor taste.
Making sexual innuendos in front of children is in poor taste.
She teased a patient about their condition, in poor taste.
Cracking jokes at a funeral service is in poor taste.
He used profanity in a thank you speech, in poor taste.
Wearing bright clown shoes to a business meeting is in poor taste.
Spreading gossip at someone's memorial is in poor taste.
Crude humor about personal tragedies is in poor taste.
He created a parody during a serious debate, in poor taste.
Singing loud music in a library is in poor taste.
She mocked her friend's accent at dinner, in poor taste.
Making fun of someone's beliefs is in poor taste.
He used a joke filter on funeral photos, in poor taste.
Promoting a sale at a vigil is in poor taste.
She doodled rude cartoons in a school yearbook, in poor taste.
Criticizing someone's grief display is in poor taste.
He delivered a sarcastic toast at a wedding, in poor taste.
Displaying political slogans at a child's recital is in poor taste.
She played prank sounds on a hospital intercom, in poor taste.
Making flippant remarks about poverty is in poor taste.
He laughed at a serious news report, in poor taste.
Singing a mocking chant at a memorial is in poor taste.
She replaced hymns with jokes at a church service, in poor taste.
Posting behind-the-scenes funeral footage is in poor taste.
He used crude language in front of elders, in poor taste.
Mocking a community tragedy is in poor taste.
She filmed people praying and laughed, in poor taste.
Playing loud pop music at a vigil is in poor taste.
He made graphic jokes at a hospital, in poor taste.
Telling crude jokes in a high-end gallery is in poor taste.
She drew offensive graffiti on a memorial, in poor taste.
Spreading rumors about a victim's family is in poor taste.
He posted insensitive tweets after a disaster, in poor taste.
Mocking someone's tears is always in poor taste.
On one's best behavior means to act politely and correctly.
It implies extra care to impress or not offend.
At the dinner, he was on his best behavior.
During the meeting, she stayed on her best behavior.
Guests must be on their best behavior at the gala.
Children should be on their best behavior in class.
He was on his best behavior when meeting his boss.
She stayed on her best behavior around her in-laws.
They were on their best behavior for the royal visit.
The team stayed on its best behavior for the VIP.
He acted on his best behavior to get a promotion.
She kept on her best behavior during the interview.
All contestants must be on their best behavior tonight.
He stayed on his best behavior when the principal arrived.
She was on her best behavior around her ex.
He remained on his best behavior during the audit.
They were on their best behavior at the embassy.
She acted on her best behavior at the reception.
He stayed on his best behavior at the award show.
She was on her best behavior for the charity event.
They remained on their best behavior in the courtroom.
He kept on his best behavior when the CEO visited.
She was on her best behavior at the art opening.
He acted on his best behavior in front of reporters.
They stayed on their best behavior during service.
She was on her best behavior at the family reunion.
He remained on his best behavior at the luncheon.
She kept on her best behavior around elders.
They stayed on their best behavior for the inspection.
He was on his best behavior at the parent-teacher meeting.
She stayed on her best behavior at the embassy dinner.
He remained on his best behavior at the book launch.
They were on their best behavior during the parade.
She was on her best behavior at the ribbon cutting.
He stayed on his best behavior at the conference.
They acted on their best behavior for the delegation.
She was on her best behavior when meeting investors.
He remained on his best behavior at the seminar.
They were on their best behavior for the dignitaries.
She stayed on her best behavior during the trial.
He was on his best behavior at the foreign embassy.
She remained on her best behavior around her mentor.
Put out has several meanings: to inconvenience, to publish, or to extinguish.
Context tells you which sense it carries.
I hope I didn't put you out by calling so late.
Please don't be put out if I decline.
The company will put out a press release tomorrow.
They put out the new album last week.
Firefighters quickly put out the blaze.
She put out the candle before sleeping.
Would it put you out if I left early?
He was seriously put out by her comment.
The studio plans to put out a sequel.
They put out a software update yesterday.
City crews put out the street fire.
She put out her cigarette on the sand.
Don't be put out by the delay.
He was put out when the show was canceled.
The publisher will put out the book next month.
They put out a revised edition last year.
Volunteers put out the campfire at dusk.
She put out her lantern at closing time.
I hope I'm not putting you out by asking favors.
He felt put out when friends canceled plans.
The label will put out a greatest hits collection.
The developer put out a patch for the bug.
Fire crews put out the forest fire quickly.
She put out the kerosene lamp before bed.
Please don't be put out by my honesty.
He was put out by her blunt feedback.
They'll put out the report at noon.
The press put out photos of the event.
The team put out the final flames.
She put out the nightlight gently.
Would it put you out to wait 5 minutes?
He was put out that she arrived late.
Studio execs put out the pilot episode.
They put out a teaser trailer yesterday.
The crew put out the boat's lantern.
She put out the gas stove flame.
I don't want to put you out with my requests.
He felt put out by the harsh tone.
The network will put out the broadcast tonight.
They put out the widget for download.
Cheek refers to the fleshy side of the face or impudence.
A slang, it means bold rudeness.
She kissed him on the cheek.
He has a mole on his left cheek.
She blushed and touched her cheek.
He wiped frosting off his cheek.
She pressed her cheeks together for the photo.
He felt a chill on his cheeks.
She drew attention to her rosy cheeks.
He rested his chin on his cheek.
She stroked his cheek gently.
He hid his cheeks under the hat.
She felt a tear roll down her cheek.
He pinched her cheek playfully.
She felt heat in her cheeks from embarrassment.
He leaned his face against her cheek.
She painted a heart on her cheek.
He felt a breeze on his cheeks at sunset.
She placed lipstick on her cheeks too.
He pressed a cold cloth to his cheek.
She admired the beauty of her cheekbones.
He felt goosebumps on his cheeks.
She had bright cheeks after running.
He brushed a strand of hair from her cheek.
She kissed his cheek goodnight.
He felt soft skin on her cheek.
She dabbed powder on her cheeks.
He saw freckles on his son's cheeks.
She smiled, showing dimples on her cheeks.
He cupped her cheek when she cried.
She rested her head on his cheek.
He warmed her cold cheeks with his hands.
She felt a sting on her cheek from the slap.
He brushed lipstick off her cheek.
She drew a flower on her cheek.
He pressed his cheek against the window.
She felt softness in her child's cheek.
He noticed redness on her cheek.
She stroked her cat's cheek lovingly.
He felt her cheek against his as they danced.
She marked her cheek with face paint.
He traced her cheek with the back of his hand.
Cheeky describes impudent or endearingly bold behavior.
It can be playful or slightly disrespectful.
He gave a cheeky grin at the teacher.
She made a cheeky comment about his tie.
That was a cheeky joke you told.
He took a cheeky sip of her coffee.
She wore a cheeky dress to the party.
He left a cheeky note on her desk.
She flashed a cheeky wink across the room.
He made a cheeky remark to the boss.
She gave a cheeky reply to the question.
He pulled a cheeky prank on his friend.
She used a cheeky filter on his photo.
He shot a cheeky text to his sister.
She made a cheeky face at the camera.
He gave a cheeky salute to the guard.
She told a cheeky secret in his ear.
He added a cheeky line to the speech.
She made a cheeky offer for the price.
He offered a cheeky challenge to the champion.
She left a cheeky tip for the waitress.
He cracked a cheeky pun at dinner.
She wrote a cheeky caption on her post.
He shared a cheeky meme in the chat.
She gave a cheeky hug before leaving.
He made a cheeky face when she scolded him.
She cooked a cheeky surprise for his birthday.
He sent a cheeky selfie to his friend.
She left a cheeky comment on his blog.
He made a cheeky noise during the meeting.
She made a cheeky escape from chores.
He added a cheeky twist to the recipe.
She gave a cheeky suggestion to the director.
He delivered a cheeky line in the play.
She posted a cheeky video online.
He whispered a cheeky joke at the table.
She made a cheeky adjustment to the painting.
He gave a cheeky grin to the audience.
She added a cheeky twist to the ending.
He made a cheeky suggestion during the meeting.
She told a cheeky secret to her friend.
He delivered a cheeky punchline at the show.
We hope this helps you feel confident using these expressions in daily conversation.
Thanks for listening and see you next time on the podcast.